20 maybe. Thank you. I got to Long Creek in 2008. I was going to school at Warren Wilson College outside of Asheville, Sarajoy Valley, and it's kind of my first time as an adult and being like, this way of schooling doesn't work for me. So I dropped out, and my best friend, who was also going to school there, his mom helped me out big time with giving me a place to live, and I traded to help out at her little cafe that she had with her daughter in town. And a month later, rafting season started, so I kind of just fell into it. It's a good question. I don't think anybody actually knows the answer to that. The recirculating eddy for some, and I guess initially the feeling. I enjoyed being back in the South. I enjoy these mountains. They give off a lot of good energy. And I was kind of lost. Like, I didn't really have a place to go. There wasn't, my folks at the time lived in Arizona, and that seemed like not an option. To go back to the state I grew up in. A few years later, I guess, I met my soon-to-be husband, soon thereafter to be ex-husband. And we had a kid in the middle of that. It just seemed like a perfect space for life. Then I got started in my endeavors, the shop and community. I grew up in a small family. I always wanted a big family, so community has always been important for me because I've never really had blood around to support. They've always been pretty far away. So I was pretty committed to making that happen, or figuring out a way to get people who also felt the same way to get together and do stuff. And art at the time seemed to be the common ground between a lot of people here in the community. So I started out thinking art was my thing, what I wanted to major in, all that good stuff, but I never could find a niche, something I was really good at. Yeah, that's when I had an aha moment of like, why am I putting art forward when I've always had sustainability as in the background? And so I ended up flipping them and turning landscaping into my art form. So that's how I paint my pictures, my landscapes. So it's what I've always been drawn to when I draw or paint. It's always landscapes. It's never man-made. It's always something nature-made. I guess it was my dad. He was always in the yard when I was growing up. He'd work his, day job, and when he was coming home, he'd always be in the yard. He, I guess, made me aware of my surroundings and my place in the world. They've always have had like a sustainable quality to them as far as like homesteading or farming. Having that, like, we've done sustainability classes together, did permaculture classes when I was in high school on the weekends, little get-togethers with people, and it was really nice. I think most of my impact comes from being able to help people who need it. Not necessarily through art, but sometimes adding art form to it does help. It's great therapy. I always talked about the backwoods being a stepping stone, where there's, you have an idea, awesome. Well, here's the opportunity made available. We have selling space, we have free space for you to come and experiment and do your thing. Opportunity can be given to rural residents, and they succeed at building in this moment, and they move on, then I am so happy to see that. I do an hour radius from Long Creek, so my days can be very long. But here, I try and stay focused on making money in order to build this temporary housing, as well as getting organized for for school that should be able to happen, because I'll make it happen. And I'm always very determined. Just like, how do we make this work? Okay, let's figure it out. Steps, goals, let's go.